Hi everyone, so today I have a sponsored video for you from Diamond Press for their Teal Tuesday. They do this once a year on their site. I want to say that right up front because then people will say, oh, that code's not working on HSN or whatever it might be. These items are on my Diamond Press, their new site, and so I'll have the link there in the description box for you guys. What happens is it's their Teal Tuesday. So you go in, you're shopping, and then at checkout you want to type in Teal50 for 50% off everything. So everything. They do have a free gift with purchase of $85 or more. Your purchases after the discounts. You'll get this mini stamping press, but we'll talk about that in just a moment. So I do want to say up top also that they did send these items free of charge for my review. And of course, all opinions are my own. The links I have in the description box generally will be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items to those links. But this time, you're going to want to use Teal50 as your code, and that is a discount code that Diamond Press has. It doesn't have anything to do with my affiliates or anything like that. So, and it's 3 days only. So if you're watching this video, you probably watch Beth's live because that's going to go ahead and let you guys know everything's available for purchase. And I'm just going to do an unboxing for you guys like I normally do, you know, some measurements and all that kind of stuff that I do. So I really just want to hop right to it. But of course, I have my disclosures I always give. So let's go for it. So again, 3 days only. I'll have that information also in the description box for you guys. I'll just link to you know, the releases. These are essentially November releases, right? And like I said, 50% off the whole site there. And then when you spend $85 or more after discounts, before tax and all that, I suppose, they will add this to you. I don't think you need to put this in your cart or anything like that. It'll just be added to your order if it qualifies, right? So it's the mini stamp press. So you'll get one of these guys for free. Super cute. I've been using the one that came in the mega stamping kit, and it works really nicely. So a real simple system. It has little pegs that you're going to pop that into, and it has an area that's roughly, I would say, more like 4.5 by the time you're like out here. I kind of tested that in the last video where I used this, and then again, basically 3 inches in this area, right? The width, you know, beside the pegs there. So generally I just bump up whatever is on stamping. Let's just pretend we have this, you know, right up, bump it right up there. Maybe I'll put a piece of tape there for, you know, to hold it. And then whatever stamp you're going to be stamping, you pop that down, and it has these little springs that are really nice and sturdy, so it doesn't just like collapse on itself already. You have some time to make sure everything's good before you give it that squeeze, right? So you will get that free. It's very sweet. Okay. I love new. We love new. Let's check these things out. I see some things are for the Grand Marquee. The packaging definitely will give you that information. And so you're seeing the packaging here, because I think sometimes maybe when you're ordering, maybe you don't see that so much. But we'll just get started. I'm just going to grab this one in here. Oh, okay. So there's a tag builder, and I think there's another one. Yes. So 2 different tag builders. This one's your everyday tag builder, and then the other one is Christmas. So I think I should put these things to the side. Maybe that's what I'll do. Okay, I guess when I took a pause, I could have just opened this, but there we go. So you have your acrylic stamps, your metal, thin metal dies. Again, these thin metal dies will go through any machine you have that cut thin metal dies. I know that, you know, the packaging says, you know, Grand Marquee, things like that. That just means it's you need a larger machine for those dies. But if you do not have a Marquee or Grand Marquee, these will go through any machine that you have. And I do get that question quite often when I do unboxings and tutorials, so I just want to let you know. So it does come with a folder for the Marquee. Again, if you don't have one of those systems, you can put this to the side. I know some people use it as a stamp positioner. They'll put, you know, something in here, put your stamp and everything, and still use that. So something to think about. Maybe you mix acrylics on here, whatever it is that you want to do for that, you will have. And then again, if you have the Grand Marquee, you can use the adapter, that Teal adapter, and that will still go through the Grand Marquee. Let's see what this is about, and then we'll look at the actual product there, and then we'll move on to the Christmas one. And I'm assuming a lot of these will probably mix and match, right? The sentiments and things that are on there for the 2 tag sets. So we have this one. It looks like there's 3 portions to this piece. You can do, okay, so what's showing you is you have these dies, right? The one that's going to cut the long tag, and then you have these cute like reinforcement like topper pieces, but you can also stamp on those so that you have a different color if you want. I mean, it could just be 2 different, you know, pieces of cardstock or however. This one, same thing. You have a stamp for that topper piece, and so you can, you know, cut out your tag and then have this cute accent piece there. And on this one, just a little different shape, more like a ticket shape in my opinion. Very cute. Again, this one has little stripes. dies for that. And then we have these shapes here. This one has like the half circle, which is very cute. Accent to that background tag. And then this one looks like this. And then you have like this square that, you know, you can cut out some of these sentiments like hip hip hooray, party time, happy days, celebrate with love. And then you have these that are more like oblong. Today's the day, you're the best from my heart. Best day ever, congratulations. And then cute things. So you have little stars, you have your butterflies there, you have the hearts, and then all kinds of other cute little icons. Those are all dies. And these are stamps. That's how they depict them. I love that. It looks so cute. The little rainbows, the numbers. So it's just really fun. Maybe have that, and then maybe circle one or whatever, right? So it's kind of ledger looking. And some tag ideas down here. So these, again, are your acrylic stamps, and they are a good size. You know, when I say little, I'm just saying little as a term of endearment, I suppose. But these are a really good size. And so all those accents and cute things here, make a wish, and then those accents. And then let me give you some measurements on these tags. So this die is, the die itself, right, is just over 4¼ inches by, you know, almost about 1 inch exactly. So you can imagine a little bit's going to be missing from where the actual cutting edge is. So I just want to give you an idea. This guy is just over 3 inches by about 7/8 of an inch. This one is, I'm trying to give you a measurement on all of them just so you have a really good idea about that. Almost 2 3/4 inches tall by 1 7/8 of an inch. This guy is, ooh, that's a big boy. 3 1/8 of an inch by 2 3/8, I would say. And then you can measure the circles. About a 2-inch circle. And then, I mean, the square is kind of like something you're going to add in later. So those are the tag sizes that are in there. Now let's check out the Christmas one. Tag builder stamp and die set. I love the tags that Die Press comes up with. I think they do it every year. And I love our tags. I mean, you can use them every day. Again, mix and matching these guys. So again, it comes with the marquee cutting folder, and let's just take a look. So you have like, looks like a luggage tag maybe. This one with the rounded top. This one's just a little bit more of a truncated kind of long tag or a square kind of tag. You have your scallop circle, and you have this cool guy with a little accent piece there. A circle that's going to cut out these different things. Warm wishes, hello winter, merry and bright, if you want. Otherwise, you can just stamp on there. Postage edge stamp, or die, which we love. Special delivery from Santa, ho ho ho, warm wishes, looks something like this. And then your ticket with a cute little like ticket look. I mean, oh, I love that. Ho ho ho, warm wishes. Or it can cut out those same ones, is what they're showing you. Maybe postage or scallop edge with the square, comfort and joy, and then the ho ho ho. So a lot of these same stamps you can still cut with those dies. The oblong shape with things like peace and joy, do not shake, that's so cute. Stars and like more like the Star of Bethlehem type thing, right? And then these other ones here, North Pole, very cute with its die. You have some Stampin' dies, so the holly, and then like the bow even has a second stamp there to, you know, flesh it out. And then you have the die for that. You have the letters joy, which is very cute. And then that's a die, and these are all stamps. Very cute. And then some ideas on how you might want to do those. And so again, you have your stamps. I mean, really nice size. I mean, you can kind of tell the size of my hand, hopefully. But we'll give you some measurements. Very cool. Cute. Absolutely no peeking. And then these are the tags themselves. So like that luggage one is about 3 3/4 inches by just over 2 inches. And then this one is about 3 1/4 inches, I would say. I'm sorry, it's hard to tell because these things are here. 2 1/4. You have a circle that, you know, nestles in, I suppose, with these guys. So this guy is a big boy. It is almost 2.5 inch circle. This guy is 2 3/8 inch wide by just over 2 inches tall. And then this one is like 3 1/4 inches tall by 1 1/4 or so. Okay. Very cool. put this over here. This one has tags in it, but it's not a tag builder, but it does say Baking Spirits Bright Stamp and Die Every Day. This will be cute. So Baking Spirits Bright, you think that's Christmassy, but I think it's also has an everyday kind of look to it. Oh, sorry, you guys. Okay. So there's that, there's this. Let me bring this up just a little bit. And then you have your cutting folder, of course, and then we have these guys. So you have stamps and dies with those cute like cakes and cupcakes. Little mini one. You have your donut. You have the little like Linzer cookies, little tarts there. Your sugar cookies, strawberries. Those are all stamps with dies. A macaron looks like. Oh, those little like spritzy kind of cookies. Very traditional. And then your cherries, those are all stamps and dies. And then you have these tags. You have the little oval, the circle, your classic tag there on these two. And then things like Bake with Love, Homemade, sorry about the lighting, You Bake Me So Very Happy. Some icons, wishing you a sweet birthday, a little treat for someone sweet. I didn't read them all, of course, I'm just reading some for you. Look how cute. Oh my gosh. I love the idea of that card. Very cute. So these are the stamps. And then, of course, I'll give you measurements on the dies so you'll have an idea of, the size of these guys. But like I said, I didn't read every single sentiment. There are tons. I love the little croissant. That is so cute. Okay. So let me get you an idea. Like these tags are 2 7/8 by about 1.5. And this one is almost, I would say almost 2.5. It's like just over 2 1/4 by almost 1.5. And then like your, piece of cake here is almost 2.5 inches. So just to give you an idea of how big those guys are. Okay, then these smaller tags here. Very cute set. And we have some sentiments here. I'm just grabbing them, no special order here. Thank you, stamp and die set. I love this kind of thing. Oh, this one has stencils too. So this is a stencil, stamp, and die set. These are big. Okay, so we have these guys. Sorry. All right, it comes with your cutting folder. Let's see the intention of the kit, and then we'll take a look. Maybe I keep this down here. I feel like the lighting just gets wonky. Nope, see, that didn't help. Anyhow, so you have your stencil called Hearts, and then another one that just says thank you, like all over the place with different languages, right? So you have your gracias, your danke, arigato, it says, some other things, merci, stuff like that. Grazie, that's cute. Oh, obrigado's on there too. Okay. Oh, shushi is on there too. Okay, so then we have the words. So these have stamps and dies with them. So thank you, and then the die that goes along with that, and this one too, and different fonts. You have thanks a bunch. That's really cute. And then you have sentiments in banners. So you have the banner dies, which are adorable, which things like for being you. So like thanks for being you, or that kind of thing. You want to mix and match them. I am so sorry. Let me see if I can fix this lighting. Yeah, probably not much better. Okay, so very much for your support. And then that one's kind of like the wavy banner. And then this one here that's straight across has like from the bottom of my heart. But then it says use scissors to cut down long rectangle. Oh, okay, to fit individual sentiments better because some of them are longer, right? For being there for me, for everything you do, for being my friend. I mean, there's lots of things for your patience. I love that. I love having those little dovetail banners. That's cute. And then some ideas on how you might want to use those. All right. And these are the dies themselves. The stencils are big stencils. This one's almost 8 inches by 6.5. Of course, it's missing, the edges here. So it looks like you're going to be able to stencil an area that's over 6.5 inches by about 5. Really nice and big, right? And then you have the sentiments, which again are huge. I mean, this is a big stamp sheet, and this is how many it needs to take it up, So nice and big. And then all the different sentiments there. For being my friend. I think we read that one already. Now, some might be hard to see, but for coming, you are the best. I am very grateful for listening. All those mix and matches with your thank yous. So just to give you a rough idea, this thanks is about 3 3/4 inches. This one is maybe 3 1/4 inches. And I was trying to see how tall. About 1 1/8 inch tall. So hopefully that gives you an idea. I mean, they're all kind of similar in in that kind of sizing. Very, very, very cute. I love this kind of thing because you can definitely, does this have an idea on here? Oh yeah, we saw it. Let's say, yeah, you do your background and then just, you know, thanks a bunch. You know, you are incredible or whatever they put on this one. That's very, very cute. I like that set. Love that kind of thing. Okay, these are on the edge dies, guys. So everything I've shown you so far has not been a Grand Marquee specifically set, right? Specifically like a larger die. But I will say a lot of times with this, you do want to have a bigger piece of paper to put this on, so you are going to want something that's a little bit larger. You can probably still get it done in the Marquee though, because if it's 4¼ inches or less wide, you're going to be able to pop it through here, right? So you have that, and then let's look at the intention here. Using scissors or a paper trimmer, cut a piece of cardstock 4¼ by 5½, of course, and then you can put your die wherever it is that you want that, you know, to cut on the edge. And this is gorgeous, this huge peony. And then just layer it over your card base or another piece of cardstock, you know, and then make it a card topper or however. So these are the images, and that's how they're going to look. Again, wherever you want, right? This one's a little more narrow. This one's like right down the middle, and this one's justified right. Okay, so then you have your marquee cutting folder for that, and then you have those beautiful daisies. I would say tulips. I think those are tulips. And then the beautiful like peony, big cabbage rose kind of look there. And the die itself is almost 6 inches tall, like this one is. And this one's like almost 2 3/4 inches wide. This one is about the same, like 2 7/8 inches wide. And this one looks wider. It is about 3 5/8 inches wide. Okay, very cool. Again, you make a gorgeous background, and then, you know, you just pop a little thank you over the top, right? I mean, just really, really cute. Really easy to use. This one is the So Delightful Stamp and Die Kit. So we just came back from Utah, right, with Dorian's band competition, and unfortunately he didn't get to try swig. I was like, okay, if we're gonna go to Utah, we have to try swig. Everyone talks about swigs, so we went by there and got dirty sodas, I guess is what they're calling them, I don't know, and some cookies. And unfortunately, when he was with us, because he was the band, you know, thing, that was on Saturday and things, it was Sunday and they were closed. So I was like, oh, because I was like, oh, we have to go by there, and then poor boy didn't get to have one, but next time, right? So that's what this reminds me of right now. I'm like, oh, so delightful. So we have your acrylic stamps, the cutting folder, and then the die set, which is very cute. I love this little bottle cap. That's adorable. Oh, it's right here. So stamps to go along with it. So the outline of your bottle, like whatever liquid you want to put in there, right? And then you have the bottle cap and the bottle itself. You have to cut out, you know, your label, like the zest, really cute, soda lighted for you. You make my heart fizz, cute things like this. You have the can there with the little stripe, or maybe you want to put a sentiment in there, however, but you have the die for that, the little cherries that again you can stamp and cut, and then like a little lemon. Stamp and cut also on that. You have your citrus slice, you have your pineapples, very cute. These are all kind of like layering images here. What I would do definitely for these guys, if you're not exactly sure like how high up this should be or however, is go ahead and cut the image first on whatever cardstock you're going to use, and then do the stamping, right? Line up your stamp on it and stamp it that way. That way that comes out perfectly for you. This cute little like doily kind of look, but it's going to cut all these different things, or you're pairing up together, right? So you have that doily in the background, then the circle with all these cute little images. Oh, there we go. Cute. I love the little like kind of bubble look with different types there. You have a straw with the die, with the die for it, and then these bubbles. And maybe some ideas on how you might want to do that. I love the slim line with the cans. That is so cute. There you go. So it might be hard to see these guys, but there you go. You have a nice, I mean, this is a nice big background stamp, and so are the these focal points, right? And then these are so cute. The little icons are adorable. And I'll get you a measurement on those. So your soda bottle is about 4 1/4 inches tall, and maybe just over 1.5 inches at the widest point. And then the little cans, those are so cute, are 2.5 inches tall, and then about 1 3/8 inches wide. Okay, I love these. These are adorable. So cute. So that's your So Delightful stamp and die set. Ooh, Bon Voyage. This has a lot in there. All right, so it's very thick. Bon Voyage stamp and die set. Oh, I can see these are like little like luggage corners or something. So let's see what this is about. A couple of sets of dies. You have your marquee cutting folder and then 2 stamp sets on that one. We'll play around with some of these things, you know, in unboxing. I like to show you everything and then try a couple things out. So let's see what we play with today. But this is so cute. So you have your stacked luggage. If you want to do it that way, of course, you can just use one at a time or however. With the corners and then the hardware and things, your handle and all that. And this one's slightly different from that one. And this one, oh, it's very old school. I love that. Look at that. So cute. You have your globe that you can stamp the, you know, the globe portion of it, and then the hardware, you're just going to cut that out. So however you want to mix and match those colors. Enjoy the journey, little signage with the die. You have the cute little car, and then the die for that. You have an airplane. Oh, when I first saw this, I'm looking at it, I thought it was a little fish, and then I was like, oh, it's an airplane. Postcard with the die for that. You have the little paper airplane with the die. You have, what you can do is to make like a little postcard or something cute like that, or just airmail. Oops, this stuff's slipping over here. With the die for that too, and then things like adventure and the definition for that, and then there is no one I would rather travel through this life with than you. That's very sweet. Passport with the die. You have your little camera, and then like those little things that tell you kind of where you are. I don't know, navigation type things. Adventure with the die awaits, if that's how you want to do that. Again, another one of these little guys. The palm tree, the little signage, that's so cute. Bon Voyage with the die. All these words and things that you can pop in and make it very cute with the icons and where to next. And honestly, that's how, in my mind, I'm always where to next. Like, we just came back from Utah. I was, okay, let's go to Grand Canyon. But I'm like, you know what? Those are both kind of, so we're just going to do some beach stuff over Thanksgiving, just here locally, but with the RV or whatever. But yeah, where to next? And then all these cute things. Love it. I feel like it's always nice to just make memories, you know? Traveling and just like a lot of things. But here we go. So very cute. I mean, these are really nice size. I love the colors they always use on their carriers. It's just some inspo too, right? Very, very cute. And then we have these dies. So again, for the luggage, for the postcard, your globe, and all those good things. So I'm just going to give you a sizing, maybe in this direction. So this bottom one is just over 3.5 inches. This next one is almost 3.5. It's like 3 3/8. And then the smaller one is about 2 3/4 inches. And they're all just about over an inch deep. And then the wording, right? So you can have an idea of that. If these are the numbers I gave you, you can kind of see what's going on with that one. The postcard is about 3.5 by 2 5/8. Again, that's metal to metal, so just a little bit smaller than that. And so there you go. You can have an idea. The globe is about the same kind of sizing. Very cute. And now these are the Grand Marquis types. Yes, so I have 3 here. And I believe, yeah, so this one, look how big that die is, right? That's why it's Grand Marquis. But whatever larger machine you have, this is why I give you guys numbers. I know I get a lot of comments and people say, does that fit through this? Does that fit through that? I don't know. I don't know the sizing for all the machines in the world, but that's why I'm giving numbers, guys. So hopefully you're hearing those. If you didn't hear them, you know, kind of back it up. I'm going to give you the numbers. Okay, so this big guy is, again, that's why I do metal to metal too, so you know. It is just shy of 5 3/4 by 7 1/8, okay? And that's the biggest one, so everything else is going to be smaller than that. 5 3/4, 7 1/8. And then you have all these pieces, and we'll see what the intention is. So let me open these up. There are quite a few pages, and I'll be right back. These are called unique folding dies. Sorry, I started talking about the Grand Marquis without talking about the name of this specific set. So you're going to have a card, and you're going to cut out the pop-up die, it says, which is that large piece. And then you're going to go ahead and put something like this on there. And you are going to do it separately because that other one has that line down the center. You can't just put the 2 dies together, right? So if you want to do a heart shape or like the octagon shape or an oval, and then they're showing you, you're going to, you know, score those, glue those to the center of your card. You're going to have this piece here for the pop-up mechanism in the center. Okay. And then you're going to make like little boxes out of those. Oh, okay. Oh, that is so cute. Okay, so I get it. And then you're going to have this heart, and then you're going to glue it to these little boxes you just made. So when it flattens out, it flattens out. But when you open it, it also pops up along with this aperture, right? The aperture is going to have its own shape, and then that's going to have some pop out ability. And you can do that with all the shapes. Very cool. So very straightforward set. Nice and big. I mean, this is, I think it's for a 5x7 card. Yeah, so it's telling you to fold a 10x7 piece of cardstock to 5x7. So there you go. Very cool. Very, really nice and big. And you can think of all the, you know, pattern papers you have, all those kind of cute things for these things to pop up. Or maybe you stick ephemera to it, just depending on how you're working this. So very cool. And that is the Unique Folding Dies kit. Sorry, I tell you, my camera's on the fritz, and so I could see that it got really fuzzy at the end there. So I want to take a pause. Okay, this is the kit called Large Bow Option 2. Okay. Now, having said that, it is a Grand Marquis die because it's all together. Okay, so if you look at this and think it's different pieces, no, it's this one big piece. I'm gonna take it off here just to show you. Oh my gosh. Okay, it's this is so awesome. They made it so everything runs through at the same time. Can you imagine if you're making a bow, the tails and all these things are going to match? And look at this. What? Okay, so to get a little bent here, I'm going to put that back. I can see that. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Is it all together or is it crunch? Okay, so it's all together, but it cuts separate pieces. Right? So there you go. Let's say you run through your paper. That's what they're saying to do there. Take each piece and kind of give that little zhuzh so it kind of curls, right? Like we would do with normal, any other bow. Bring them to the center. So you have those pieces. And then you have this, the center, your bow center. And you're also going to go ahead and fold that. Okay. And then on your tails, oh, sorry. It does cut two tails at once. There's one here and there's one over here, okay? And so you're going to set it up kind of like in a cross shape, and then you're going to put glue on those guys, and then just adhere them in a way that's kind of like this kind of thing, right? And then they're just nice and round. I mean, what do you, like it's going to look like that. I love that that's an actual picture. Yeah, that's what it looks like. See how the other ones are computer generated. And then just put that little center down in there, and there you go. That is so cute. Very effective, right? And I mean, quick. That's awesome. So let me give you a measurement on this guy. Sorry. I just jumped right to like, wow. Okay, I'm trying to get the very edge of it so that we're good to go. I would say it's 7 1/4, if not just shy of 7 1/4, because that would be up here, but I can see the way this bows out, right? By, right at the middle there, 10 7/8 inches. So almost 11 inches long. That's really cool. Okay. So that is your large bow. And last but not least, again, these are all very big, so I'm trying to get this in here. You have the Die & Press Die Kit 3D Snowflakes. I am very curious of this one and what it does, because these are huge. Wow. Okay. Let's look at the intention. Oh, there's another one. Okay. Lots of dies on this one, guys. Big dies. I don't know if you can see. I mean, they're big. Let's see here. Use a Grand Marquis to cut out 8 desired snowflakes. You're going to fold them at the score line and then glue those together. And they're showing you how to do that so that it ends up looking like this, you know, if you can imagine that they're all V'd like this. Okay, so that's that one, right? So big 3D snowflakes kit. So that's that guy, because they're going to start explaining something else over here. So that's with these, well, with this one, sorry, or this one. Here's the die, the score line for that. That one has score line down the center here. And of course, you just want it to be flat. You can just have it flat if you're just putting it on like a card or something big like that. You don't have to score it if you don't want to. This other one says you're going to start off with a piece of cardstock. It's better to use thinner GSM for this project. Okay, so that's that guy. And then you're using this die, and you see how it's telling you to fold it over, do this gluing. Okay, we're going to run that through, and then you're going to fold it in half. And I'm trying to see what project that's making. 5, 6 is over here. Oh, okay, cool. So this one's just going to have a different kind of look to it, okay, as far as the snowflake. I may follow up and do a video on this if I don't do it today because I think you're going to want to see these guys. And it says if you like to use the shape shown below, start step 1 by folding 2.5-inch wide piece of paper and then doing the same thing with steps 3 to 6, okay? Very, very cool. And I'm sorry I don't have, you know what, actually I can show you real quick. I'll pull up the email blast so you can see kind of what the intention is of these guys. But I am going to give you some measurements, so let's do that first. This guy is real big. 9 5/8, almost 10 inches by just over 3 inches wide. This one's so pretty. Just about 9 inches long and just under 3 inches wide. This is a big boy. So it depends, you know, if you can put it through your machine this way, it's going to be thinner than putting it at the angle, right? So let's just give a measurement this way. Just about 5 1/8 inches and about 6 at the tippy top here. And then this guy is more of a circle, so I'm just going to go for that measurement. It is, I would say, just shy of 7 1/4 inches wide. Okay. And let me show you what I mean as far as what this can do. Okay, something like this. Look at that. And it's going to be huge, right? You can imagine. Look at this. It's like a rosette type thing. It's going to be very pretty. And then just some other ideas here. And I will say, as I was scrolling through this, they did bring back the large lantern. So this guy right here, which flew out, I was going to say on SNL, on HSN, people have been, you know, asking about it and if they're ever going to have it again. They did bring back this die set there on my die and press, okay? So if you were interested in that big lantern, it had a couple of inserts and things, lots of ways to play with this guy. It is huge. It makes a really big project. It is available there also, guys. So I didn't show it to you because I already have it. And here's the project. If I can recall, I'll link the video so you can see how to put one together. But they did bring this back, so if you're interested in that, it's there. All right, let me put some of these things to the side and we'll work with a little something. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, as I had gone through the unboxing, I had mentioned maybe doing a card with like this background and then maybe a thank you on top. So we're going to do something like that. So we're going to use this die set first. And I already have some things cut here. So we have an A2 size card base that's 8.5 by 5.5 scored at 4 1/4 if you're making your own. I'm going to cut into this black piece of cardstock, and I thought I'll use this lovely, you know, peony type because I just thought it was so pretty. And then I was just looking for like maybe a pattern paper, and this one honestly was the first thing I saw, and I was like, oh, that works out perfectly. It's like almost the same kind of design. So I'm going to take this guy. So I cut this down to 4 1/4 by 5.5. I'm just going to go ahead and glue that down. So it is a full mat. I hardly ever do that if you guys watch my channel any length of time, but I'm going to do that today. And then this guy, I'm just going to run this through. And again, wherever you want, like I said, it's about 6 inches tall, so that's why it's over this 5.5 inch. But this is 4 1/4 by 5.5, just to start off with something. If I had a scrap of paper that was smaller, I would start with that, you know. But I just want to show you what I'm thinking here. So if this is here, and I do want this beautiful stuff showing. Sorry, I just put lotion on my hands. Yeah, you just eyeball wherever it is that you think you want your flowers to go to. Something like that. So I'm just going to take this here and pop this maybe on the 3/4 inch. Maybe that's a lot of black. Let's go 1/2 inch. I'm just looking at the 1/2 inch grid line here, and that will let me know where to put some tape. Oh, that tape is not going to help at all. Smallest little pieces of tape. And this guy. This is all going to fall away. So I'm just going to run this through, you know, whatever machine can accommodate this, and I'll be right back. Ooh, this would be a lovely one to paper piece, because look how big these pieces are, you know. Be really nice. Oh, there goes, there goes that. Again, it has that cut line there, so just cut it completely off. Look how pretty. I'm going to clean this out. There's just a couple little bits left, and we'll get this popped on our card. Okay, guys, so we have our card base. We have this beautiful topper, and you know, you can pop that on there. Again, justify it to the left there, bring it over a little bit. I mean, whatever you want to do with it. I was even thinking, how about diagonal, right? Put this on the diagonal. I didn't think about that, but you can definitely do that, and it would look lovely that way too, right? You're just going to work with this a little bit differently. But then I have this piece of organza here, and I thought, what if we put some organza on there or behind there? That'd be really pretty. So what I'm going to do is kind of eyeball this. I don't want to fidget with this while it's on here. So I think what I'm going to do is have an idea about how much I need. You don't probably need even that much because we're going to cut this. So what I'm going to do is kind of wrap it around there. I did cut it at an angle. I like the way that looks. So I'm going to cut this one at an angle. Since organza, I'm going to go ahead and see how, I don't know if you saw the edge I just cut off was already fraying. So just take a little bit of a flame and just kind of boop, boop. Put that on there so it doesn't continue to unravel. That angle wasn't as good as the other one. I'm going to take this and just make a knot, okay, in the air. And then we're going to cut it in half and put that on our card. So I'm just, if you want to make a bow, you can do that too, but it's a little trickier. So I'm just going to make a knot. I think that's going to look pretty. I don't want it too big. That's too much. Too much as far as the tails. Let's take those back a little bit. Let's just do that again. No, this video is not about making a knot, but I'm just trying to make a little bit tighter knot, and I need to singe that edge a little bit more. I can see it's still unraveling. My goodness, come on. There we go. Okay. And maybe even a little bit smaller than that. Bring that in. Here we go. Okay. I'm going to tighten that up. A little bit more on that one. Okay, I'm going to singe this end, perfect it a little bit more. I'll be right back. Okay, and then I'm just going to cut this in half. As I was saying, you don't actually need to wrap the thing all around. You just want to have something cute. Should I bring it up higher, down low, maybe up here? That's pretty. I like that. Okay, so I'm trying to think if I want to just use tape. Yeah, that's what I'll do. A little tapey tape. Let's see, is that how it goes? Yeah. Just need something to hold it around the edge-ish. Yep. I'll just make sure it's nice and lined up over here. Still about the same. I will say this guy, it looks like it's twisted, and I could continue twisting it, but you know what? That's just the nature of when you twist or tie something, so I'm just going to be okay with that being where it is. Let me move this over a little bit more. And I don't need all this, so I'm just going to cut off this excess bit. Okay. And now I'm going to glue this down. So just glue all over. Okay, I'll be right back. I'm just going to put glue here and there, in these delicate areas here and all that. I think that's good. And I did like moving it over just a little bit, and not just having it right at the edge. So I'm going to put it like right here. I think that looks really nice. I was going to say, I know it's crooked. I can see that. There we go. Okay, and I'm just going to put something with some weight on top of this, because that's just what I like to do. So I'm just going to put something with some weight here on this side. Okay, so I just put a little stack of things on here, and nice and flat. Looks really, really pretty. And so I think with the, with everything I have going on here, I think I'm going to do the thanks or thank you part, and maybe not one of the little extra bits, because I already have like a ribbon here. If I had another kind of ribbon looking thing, I don't know. So I'm thinking the thanks, because it has that cursive font and it looks very lovely for a card like this, right? A little more, I don't know if sophisticated is the word, but whatever it is, there we go. So I'm going to grab some black ink and a scrap of white cardstock that will accommodate this here. It's not the biggest scrap of paper, something that would be about this size. I'll be right back. Okay, and this is a squared off area, so I will pop that in there. Like I said, you want to put a little piece of tape or just butt it up, knowing that, if you have it butted up, that's where it's going to be, right? Even if it moves, if you need to restamp, just tuck it back up into that corner. And I'm just going to pop this here. I assume the die is going to go right around the edge, so I'm just giving myself a little area around there. And I'm gonna ink this guy up. Again, this is an acrylic stamp. Sometimes people ask me how I prep my acrylic stamps. You just saw I took it right off there, and I'm gonna stamp with it. Okay. Ooh, that's pretty nice. There's a couple spots there, but honestly, I mean, I think I'm pretty happy with that. But if you want to re-ink, and I'll just do it, you know, I did miss a little bit of that T at the top, so okay, let's just do it again. And just to show you that, you know, it's tucked in there, so it should be just fine. And I'll pay attention to the very top of the T over here. It's gonna be nice and dark. That gorgeous. Okay, I'm gonna clean up. We're gonna cut that out and pop it on our card. Okay, guys, we have this, and I'm gonna make like an aperture so I can see where I'm cutting. So I'm just gonna grab this piece of cardstock. If I was gonna do a drop shadow, you know, like in gold or something pretty, I would run it through the gold paper and have it behind the thanks. But I don't want to introduce another color. I like the way this looks, just the way it is. So I'm just going to cut a piece of cardstock like that. I'm going to take the thanks, and depending on where you are in your crafting journey, maybe you've seen this trick, maybe you haven't. So it's always good to know this one. If you're not sure exactly, like if I had just taken this and put it on here, I mean, kind of hard to know. You're kind of, it's on there, but maybe it's a little bit crooked or, you know, not quite where you want it. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to run it through. Oh, you know what? I'm getting ahead of myself. I like to usually put this on an area that's more flat. That way when you hinge it, it just hinges nicely. So maybe here on the top of the TH part. And I'm going to take this, just run it through. And when I bring it out, we're not going to remove it. We're going to keep that tape on there, and it's going to help us know where to position our die on the thing that we actually want to cut out. But like I said, if there's a certain color you want to do a drop shadow, run it through that first, because then you'll have that to pop behind your image there. Oh, it's nice. Okay, hold on. And, you know, if you want to use your stamp positioner later and use this instead of just tossing it out, because basically you're going to get rid of this part, the actual die cut. But if I wanted to put this on my stamp positioner and put the stamp on there and make sure, you know, I can stamp it at this point, right? So I can keep that for that. But let's open this up. Again, don't remove it. Just make sure it just hinges right where you are. And, you know, another thing you can think about, okay, I can see exactly where I'm cutting. That's the whole point of this, right? So I can put that white border in. I see, but maybe you want it to look like a little 3D. So maybe you do it this way. So that white is in the back, like to the left. And then the thanks. I mean, it just depends what you want to do. But I'm going to put a straight center, hopefully. That looks really good. Okay, that's where I'm going to cut. I'm going to make sure this hinges back down to the same space. And then get yourself some more washi or something else to help you hold this down. Or you can, I'm going to put it there. Usually I have a smaller piece of paper on top of the larger piece, okay? And one other thing I want to do is not let this move either. So I'm going to put another piece of tape on there. Okay. Or you can just hold it tight, right? Depending on what you're doing. So I'm going to hold that. And that is a lot better idea of where you're cutting than if you had just kind of popped it on there and hope for the best, right? So let's see what we have. You know, I like to use my tape. You saw me at the beginning with those little sad pieces of tape I was using. Put this over here. And you can always keep this on here if you want to keep that hinged, you know, for the next one and the next one, then you can keep doing that. Or cut yourself a new one every time. Just trying to poke this out. Not too bad. I was a little bit high, so it moved on me a little bit, but not too bad. Okay, so let me get some dimensionals on the back of this, and I'll be right back. Okay, just taking the little backs off of this. And so I've lined that with some dimensional. And I'm going to pop this on here. Yeah, it's funny. Generally, I get it right on. It did shift quite a bit, but it's still a good trick. Down here, up here. I want to get it a little bit lower. A little bit of that pink from before I got on there. Maybe here. Okay. And I'm totally eyeballing that as far as how straight it is, so there we go. Turn this over and give it a push. And that is my card, guys. So thanks for watching. Again, Teal Tuesday runs for 3 days, 50% off the whole site there. So you're definitely going to want to use that code. And I'll have the information in the description box for you. So thanks so much, Diane Press, for sponsoring this video, for sending these items for review. I will have images coming up, and I will see you all at the next one. Bye now.